Jeff Bush at Grow My Profit, talking about our 6 steps to increase revenue and profit earnings at the partner companies that we're partnered with. And step 4 is enhance your sales. So sales is pretty close to the vest, pretty close to my heart, because I've been involved in it for most of my life. And I remember reading a story one time. I think I was 19, maybe I was 20 years old. And I had a son really early at a young age. I was 18 when he was born. But at 19 or 20, maybe 20 years old, I was at Orange Coast Junior College going to college and taking some classes. I was working during the day and taking some night classes. And it was just getting too hard to support my son and myself, start out in life, single dad. I remember sitting in college thinking, I'm going to quit college. If I quit college, how am I going to make money? Because I thought I was going to be an attorney. I was kind of going to college thinking, maybe I'll be an attorney. I kind of thought I would enjoy that and thought I might be good at it. So when I quit college, it was kind of a sad day. It was like, how am I ever going to make money? But I learned, Jeff, a lot of people quit college and become billionaires owning companies. And I thought, maybe someday I'll own my own company. That sounds good. But how am I going to own my own company? I don't know anything about that. Well, if you learn sales, sales is the most important part of any company. If you can bring revenue in the door, you can have a company. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to go learn sales. So that's what got me into my first sales job at 20 years old, is quitting college, knowing I was never going to be an attorney making $1 million a year as an attorney. So I'm going to be a salesperson, and someday I'm going to own a company. And I learned later on that 50% of every company in America was started by a salesperson, which was shocking to me. Like, I thought maybe the sales side, because I always heard sales was kind of dirty. A salesperson, it was always like degrading, and you think of like a car salesman lying and cheating and stealing, and I was always like not a very respectable job. But then I found out that 50% of all companies were started by a salesperson. And I was like, that's good news. I mean, I got a shot. 50% is a big number. The other 50% would be what? Harvard grads, or the endowment of Stanford, the VC investment capital, just a whole nother level of business. Nothing wrong with that, but 50% started by salespeople. That excited me. I started selling at 20 years old, and I became the second place salesperson out of 20, and I was making 10 grand a month at 20 years old. That was in 1991. That was a lot of money in 1991 for a kid brand new to sales, just working my ass off and listening and learning from all the other salespeople that had gone in front of me that were successful. So I outworked everybody, and I got pretty good at sales, but I only did sales for like a year, and then they put me in management. So I ended up managing sales teams. So most of my career has been more in management, but there were some times where everything fell apart and I had to go start over, and I had to sit in a room. I had to sit in my barn for a year on the phone selling again. So I went back to selling, at 40 years old. Was I 40 or 41 when my mortgage company went down, when the market took a dive and I lost everything and had to rebuild? I was 41 years old, so I had to go back to getting on the phone and selling, making 100 phone calls a day, begging for money. It was humbling. But I was willing to do it, and that's what got my last company kind of off the ground. So I guess I've been a salesperson for a few years at different times in my career. Hopefully, if you're a CEO of a company, you're selling some product or you're selling a service, and you have a kind of a basic idea and an appreciation for sales, because sales is everything to a business. Revenue is everything. So step 4, increasing sales, would be like, basically, we're going to add salespeople. We're going to grow. We need to have something duplicatable. Let's say your business has 3 salespeople and you're doing $3 million a year in sales. Well, that means the average salesperson selling $1 million a year. If we want to be a $30 million business, we just got to go get 30 salespeople. Can we fit them in a room? Are we going to have a phone room, or is it going to be outside sales? Are they going to be independent contractors, employees? Are we going to do marketing to support them? What's the CRM going to be? Are we going to use Salesforce? How are we going to recruit experienced people and pay them high commission? Or are we going to recruit low experience, pay them a small commission, but have a huge budget for training? So these are some of the things we go through in enhancing your sales. Is how are we going to duplicate your business? How are we going to add salespeople? If we add salespeople, we should add revenue, and that should add earnings, right, to the bottom line. So evaluating your current team, recruiting. I was really big on hiring 5 salespeople at once. That's hard to do. Most people just, let's hire 1 salesperson next month. You hire that salesperson next month. 2 weeks later, he goes out on a drinking binge, doesn't show up to work, and he's out drunk, and you're like, oh, the 1 salesperson I hired, he was a drinker, and he ran out and never came back, and it's like, what a waste. And then people get burned out and go, God, every time I hire a salesperson, they end up quitting, and it's just a waste of my time. So then they quit, and they never scale up their business. Well, the same thing happened to me, but I learned to hire 5 salespeople at once, or 10, because I knew that maybe only 2 out of 5 were going to stick. And at the end of the training class for 5 people, if 1 quit and 2 got fired, at least I was left with 2 good ones, and it made it worth my time. So I learned to start amortizing my time and my training. At my mortgage company, I used to hire 10 people at once, and out of 10 people, maybe 5 would stick. And that's how I built my mortgage company to 30 loan officers, was hiring 10 at a time. I'm not doing 1 at a time. That's way too much work. And so just, duplication, that's such an important part of ramping up your sales team. I remember hearing, I was doing 100 loans a month, and there was and I was hiring 10 salespeople at a time. And there was another mortgage company an hour away from me that was doing 1,000 loans a month. And I was talking to the owner one time about their recruiting. He goes, oh, Jeff, we hire 100 people at a time. And I'm like, holy crap, I thought I was doing good hiring 10 at a time. This guy's hiring 100 at a time. How did he do that? He had like 3 recruiters, 50 ads running, 5 full-time people scheduling the interviews. He was running open houses. So it's funny how scalability. I scaled my business. I was pretty happy with it to grow from 0 to $12 million in revenue, making $3 million a year at my mortgage company, doing 100 loans a month with 30 loan officers. But there was other guys making $1 million a month with 300 loan officers doing 1,000 loans a month. It's funny how it was all relative, but it was all a numbers game. So we're going to look at your business, evaluate what you've got for salespeople, how you're doing recruiting, what's your interview process. Everybody's a salesperson in the interview. I have no secret tricks to knowing who's a salesperson and who isn't as far as interviews, but I do have my DISC profile that tells me 90% accuracy if they have a personality for sales. If they don't have a natural personality for sales, I'm not hiring them. It's too much work to change someone's personality. So I look at a personality for sales, and then I do group interviews, I do group hiring, I do group training. It's all about duplication. So hiring, training, who's coaching these salespeople? Finding a good sales manager is the hardest job to fill. I was a great sales manager. I had a really hard time finding great sales managers through the years. It's part of the reason my business has only scaled to 12 million and 40 million, not 120 million and 400 million. I feel like I never found the answer to recruiting the top level sales management, VP of sales, to really help grow. I got stuck doing that job, which penalized me and kept me, a smaller business, only making $3 to $17 million a year instead of making 300 million, 1.7 billion. So I still have things to learn in that area, but we can teach you to get to a certain level and maybe learn from some of my mistakes. Terminating the bottom, having stack rankings. We go through making sure everything's public, so your salespeople see where they're at in the stack ranking. Creating competition is so important in sales. Most salespeople, good ones, are competitive. They want to get to the top. So we always kind of promote who's on top and kind of promote that fight. Everybody wants to be at the top. Recognition and reward, still important in sales. We did a lot of recognition, parties, trophies, bonuses, giving away BMWs to the top salespeople, super motivating. So we go through some of our motivation process. So step 4, when we talk about enhancing your sales plan, it's a lot more than just hiring salespeople. It's the comp plan too. Small base, big commissions. Big commissions when they sell things at big fat margins, incentivizing the salespeople to sell at a higher price. A lot of salespeople are giveaway artists. So if they discount the hell out of your price and they squeeze you for margin and they're still making their same commission, that doesn't line up. Company plan with salesperson's plan. I've met a ton of horrible salespeople through the years that just love to give stuff away, and that doesn't help your cause of grow your profit, grow your revenue, grow your profit. It's got to be high margin, good sales, good revenue, revenue with margin. And sometimes it's about cutting salespeople that can't sell your added value. You know, they can't build value. They're just selling on price. Those aren't good salespeople. So those are some of the things we do with your business at Grow My Profit when you engage with us, partner with us. That's step 4. I could speak for many, many hours on sales, which we do when we get involved with businesses, spend many, many hours looking at the sales process and how we're going to add people and keep people, comp plans, that's all part of it. So look forward to hearing from you and going through your goals and how we can fill your office up with salespeople to hit those revenue goals. So thanks for listening today, and I will look forward to talking to you soon.